Welcome back, everybody, to Game Chat, our famous podcast. We got the usual cast of characters here. We got, hey, Brunner. Say hi, Brunner.
Yo.
Yo is what he says.
And then we got Anthony. Say hi, Anthony.
Hello. Shout out Germany, as always.
Always Germany. And then myself, Elite. Today we're going to discuss, so a lot of new things are happening in the DC universe. And we're going to kind of discuss, they came out with a schedule of movies that they're coming out with, and we're going to kind of break those and maybe do a little bit of live reaction because I haven't seen all the trailers. But I will let Brunner take over on that one. He'll explain a little bit better.
Yeah, so DC, their event, DC Fandome, came out where they usually, showcase what's, in the pipeline, what's going to come out in the future. And we've been a little bit busy with our horror-themed this October. But now, because we're all big DC fans over here, we're going to discuss it. Some of the biggest things to come out was the 2 trailers for the newest video games, which is Gotham Knights. And Gotham Knights is not a sequel or have any canon to the previous Batman Arkham games. The only game that is canon in the same universe is the Suicide Squad Kills Justice League video game that's going to come out.
No way.
Wait.
So
no, because that's not the Harley Quinn from Arkham.
It is. They said it. Rocksteady's making it. It is. I don't know, because Rocksteady's making the and it's not like I'm pulling this out of my derriere. I've looked at everything. Insane. All the talk. Yeah, so, and then but anyway,
that blows my mind.
Like I'm sorry, interrupt you real quick, but Ubisoft Montreal is making the Gotham Knights game, and they made the Arkham Origins game.
So I just looked this up on YouTube, and so the Gotham Knight trailer, I assume you're talking about the one that was just dropped of the Court of Owls storyline.
Yes.
It's the new movie. Okay. So I'm going to watch that.
That's the new game.
Yes, and I'm sorry, new game.
It was supposed to come out this year, and we made a whole episode about it, talking about it. You can go watch that, the superhero video games need to come back episode. Because the Gotham Knights got delayed. Right now, Elite is watching the Gotham Knights trailer.
Wow, you are right.
Okay.
So, Gotham Knights is a 4-player person co-op online and offline, so you could do it solo or you could do a co-op with some friends. And the story is, it takes place in a universe where Batman is, quote, dead, and it is up to Red Hood, Nightwing, Robin, and Batgirl to save Gotham. And Batman has left them the Bat computer, like a Batman type computer. And then now that the Batman is gone, it is time for the Court of Owls to take over. Elite, do you have anything?
So, I'm super excited. This is my super excited look. I really wish they would have made this into a movie as opposed to a game. So
I think it's an anime. So
the Court of Owls is literally my favorite graphic novel in the whole Batman series. So just to clarify, Nightwing is Dick Grayson. Mm-hmm. And then when he grew up, he became Nightwing. And that's the Jason Todd is the Robin in this role. Okay? This is a whole different canon where Batgirl was never shot by the Joker, etc., so forth. So it's a whole different canon. If they do this right, I think this story, that storyline, literally is as good as The Dark Knight, if not better. And the whole idea of the Court of Owls is basically it's about corruption. the members of the Court of Owls are the most wealthiest people of Gotham. And so the Waynes were members of the Court of Owls at one point. And so it's super good story. Super good story.
Oh yeah, if you guys ever want to play, like, learn more about it, I highly recommend you guys play the Telltale series. The very first Batman game. It has a great story on the Court of Owls. You can learn more about them. You play and it's a really good game too. Highly recommend it.
Yeah. So my understanding is from the Court of Owls, like you said, Ali, it's a group of people who like hide in the shadows. They're sort of like an Illuminati. They like pull the strings in Gotham.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And they control everything that's going on. And then Batman discovers
the Penguin's family was one of the Court of Owls. They were in the Court of Owls.
Oh yeah, let's cut down to the chase. Will it have online multiplayer, where we could play 4 at a time campaign?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Confirmed?
Yes. I'm back, girl.
I believe so. Co-op multiplayer campaign. I believe so.
They better, right? They better, right?
95% sure.
Mm-hmm. They better, man.
Yep. Dibs on Red Hood. Oh, no.
Yeah, and then also a little fun fact: the owl is the predator to the bat.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
And then, do you want to watch now the Suicide Squad kills Justice League trailer?
I can. Let me go back to YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The worst of the worst of the worst. Still, you're good at what you do. Even if what you do is far from good. He's right out the door! Somebody stop him! Did that get him?
No. It very much did not get him. Waller. Blow up his head.
Interesting. We'll see. It's kind of cool they brought back the shark, who was kind of a favorite of a lot of people. I thought it was cool they brought back Captain Boomerang. I was kind of pissed about the Captain Boomerang thing.
Okay.
I just found out that it takes place in the Arkham universe, so I think this is a really big game. Then, if that is the case, because this is the first time we see Superman, Flash, Wonder Woman, and we're gonna fight against them. And it's like,
they had Green Lantern in there. I saw Green Lantern,
and I saw the Batmobile. I don't think they'll bring out Batman.
I don't know. This takes place after Batman's death.
And it does. Because I was wondering, like, when they picked up the gun, they showed a person pick up a gun and aim it. I was thinking that was going to be Batman, because you know how Batman doesn't use guns. And that's what I was thinking, is that'd be kind of a cool twist. But
this takes place after Batman's death in Arkham Knight. And if you've noticed, so they're basically fighting Brainiac and his minion robots. And that the Justice League Brainiac has taken over members of the Justice League and corrupted their mind. In the I don't know if you saw in the trailer, but like that's why they're all acting weird, and that's why they're giving the order to kill Justice League. But Wonder Woman, if you notice in the trailer, she hasn't been corrupted, or she's able to break free, because in some of the shots she's fighting Superman himself. So again, very excited for this. Also, boys, I have some bad news. The Gotham Knights game will only be 2-player co-op online, and there will be no local co-op.
There'll be no what?
Local co-op. So like
only 2
right next to each other. Only 2 at a time.
Wow.
That's not good.
Out of 4.
It's kind of broken. That's kind of broken when you have 4 characters. Why wouldn't you make it 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Could have been us and Josh right there. Boom.
Yeah, I mean, it's
that's
not Lego.
disappointing.
Make it 4
the Avengers you could.
So, are you boys excited for these games coming out? I mean, just despite the bad news, but I mean,
I was excited till you told me that. I'm more excited
what
about
the Suicide
Batman
Squad?
Game.
Wait, what about the Suicide Squad? Is it like 2? Is it online?
Multiplayer?
Sorry
Yeah, it's multiplayer. I can look that up too.
I was
yeah,
more
sorry, go
excited
ahead, Lee.
about the Batman than I am this. I'm more excited about the Batman than I am the Suicide Squad, to be honest with you. But that's probably just because I have a much more closer affinity to Batman. I'm much more of a fan of Batman than I am, other DC characters. I mean, it's kind of. I think it'd be kind of cool. Like I was kind of sitting there thinking about that until you kind of said that, Brunner. It didn't really click. I was like, who would fight Superman? Because he's. And I was like, that shark guy. I mean, he's strong, but all you have to do is take your laser eyes and cut him in half.
Oh yeah.
So.
Oh yeah. Let me ask you boys this: do you guys actually think we're gonna kill any Justice League members?
No.
Maybe Green Lantern. Someone weak.
Why are you throwing Green Lantern under the bus?
I mean,
Green
I
Lantern's
can't
the
see
most
them
powerful. So I heard one
He's-
time, I forget what it was. I heard one time that Green Lantern is the most powerful DC character in the universe, in the DC universe.
According to these people, the Suicide Squad game, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah,
It says online
Yeah.
co-op 4 players.
perfect.
Nice.
That's the way it should be.
yeah.
That's
oh,
the way
yeah.
it should be.
Rocksteady-
I'm not playing as a
Rocksteady
shark.
knows.
Yeah, because in our previous episode, we talked about, we haven't gotten a Superman game, we haven't gotten a Flash game, we haven't gotten a Green Lantern game in a long, long time. So it does feel good to see these guys. And I was watching a video, and it was talking about the Superman game that got scrapped because of the 2008 recession. And I'm like, man, this game looks so good. And I'm like, I just wish we had something like that. But anyway,
Let me ask you a question.
I'm excited.
So you remember how we kind of talked about in a couple episodes ago how Marvel really got it down with movies, how Marvel was great in movies, and DC's kind of struggles in the movie world, with the exception of the Dark Knight series, the Christopher Nolan Batmans, and as
For
Joker.
sure.
But that was kind of not really canon though. It was kind of a little bit different. It was a little different. But let me ask you a question. Do you think DC does a better job when it comes to the video game media as opposed to Marvel video games?
Oh yeah.
It's
Hands
been
down.
with
the Arkham series. Arkham series is the only
Yeah,
series.
it's been 50-50 because again, Arkham series by itself is so good, and Arkham Knight was I remember when the game came out, before game came out, 9 out of 5 out of 10, 10 out of 10, and again, as somebody who played the game myself, very much enjoyed it.
Great game.
I loved introduced the what's it called, the game mode plus, where it's you can play the game all over again, but with all the gadgets you unlocked.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
So there's replayability.
Second run through. Yeah, and but I would think, even if you think prior to that, I think DC was the first to introduce co-branding with Lego. DC was the first to do so many of those games like you spoke about that you played on the Xbox 360. I think that it's interesting is because I think their media is video games and comics. I think that's where they stay true, and I think it kind of lacks because they do so much in their comics. I think it's hard to go to film, if that makes any sense.
Well,
it's hard to.
Well, yeah, but they kill it in the the animated films.
Yeah,
They-
no, they're
the best
animated.
ever.
Yeah. With the exception, the one that pissed me off I did not like was The Killing Joke. I wasn't a big. It was probably a 7.5. But
That's a pretty good.
hands down, you think about animation, I think about Teen Titans. I mean, the Teen Titans cartoon series, amazing. Harley Quinn on Disney Plus, amazing. Is it Disney Plus?
Even the old Batman.
Yeah,
animated
you're thinking of
series.
the
No,
HBO
it's not
Max.
It's on
Disney Plus.
HBO,
It's
yeah.
HBO Max. Yeah.
And
Batman animated series.
it's on HBO Max. I'm
Oh,
sorry,
it's
it's HBO
Boofo.
Max. It's Boofo. But you're absolutely right. The Batman series, the one that was called The Batman, that they're kind of, I think, basing this new movie off of, was phenomenal. That changed Batman, and that's the first introduction to Batman for people your generation. I still have the 1960s purple and black Batman running around. That was all campy and bullshit with shark spray. Okay, you had the Batman running around that was like this awesome one, you know. And then even another great animated series that was kind of cool with a spin-off was Batman Beyond. Did you ever watch that?
Yeah, I did.
And that was kind of a cool series too, like of what happened when Batman got old and there was new Batmans, you know. So yeah, I just was that just popped in my head. Sorry,
Yeah,
to get off
DC has made some good video game. Good video games. Marvel, like, because it's been a long time. Like, the only thing that's recent is like, besides Avengers, which kind of tanked, was their Spider-Man games. Like, the on PlayStation were good, and
but they're not Marvel.
Yeah, but
they're Sony.
Marvel property. But you know
it's
what
a Marvel
Spider-Man
property,
is
but
from
Sony
a Marvel
owns them.
comic.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's based off a Marvel comic. I get what you're saying, but I think it's because the production team behind it, as opposed to, but yeah,
like literally from like Marvel hasn't made, besides the Hulk, like their heavy hitters, like the Avengers, like the ones we're familiar with in the MCU, is like there really hasn't been any video games from the heavy hitters, and when there has been, like, they haven't been good. Like we talked about the episode in the past, the Hulk. It was on the GameCube game. That one was really good. And then there was like, I had a Iron Man. I think it was an Iron Man 2 video game. It was like, it's supposed to be a spin-off from like the Iron Man 2 movie. It sucked.
Good, right?
Was it?
Yeah, not good.
Yeah.
Iron Man's
and then
anyway.
There was a Captain America video game.
And a Thor one
and like
too.
didn't get. Yeah, and like it was good, but like just didn't get any mainstream success. But like again, and then you have Hawkeye and Black Widow, and nobody wants to pay $59 for a Hawkeye or Black Widow video game, you know?
No, yeah, shoot a bow and arrow. I'm good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying is like they haven't been made, so that's why.
Oh no, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting because I think you're right. Like I think I take that back. There were some really good X-Men games.
Mm-hmm.
There was some really good X-Men games, especially there was one of a Street Fighter version that you could play. The X-Men fought the Street Fighter cast, Capcom. It was Capcom versus Marvel, actually, was what it was called. That was kind of cool. I just was literally thinking about, I wonder where their media really is. Like DC really, I think, stays true more to the art form of comics, and it's through animation, it's through paper, and through video games, as opposed to their live action, which kind of struggle a little bit. But Marvel knocks it out of the park live action, with the exception of a couple things.
Yeah, but like there was a Deadpool game. Did you guys ever play the Deadpool game? The Deadpool game was pretty solid. And
I never played that.
But
game.
I'm saying is like, yeah, you did. Did you?
No, I said I never did.
No, Anthony, because you're raising your hand.
No, yeah, I was just saying.
But like I'm saying, it's like they're like misfit characters who are not heavy hitters. Like have the best games compared to the heavy hitters. But
I think that's what works with with the comics too, and the animation. Like I thought the greatest thing with that Batman series I was speaking of is you didn't get to see the Joker, and you didn't get to see the Penguin, and you didn't get to see the Riddler until like episode 4 or 5. The very first person he fought in that was Man-Bat. And it was kind of these sub-villains, like, because there's so many villains in the Gotham network. And I think that's really where they kind of missed the mark. We kind of talked about that before. I think that's where they missed the mark a lot of times in it. I'm really excited about this upcoming movie because it's the first introduction of maybe a good Riddler as opposed to Jim Carrey.
No, yeah. Speaking of movie, yeah. Have you seen the Flash trailer?
I have not, but I'm. So is it? So let me look. Is it off?
Because you're gonna want to see this. We're gonna want to talk about the movie.
You're gonna want to see this.
Okay.
You're gonna want to see this.
The Flash.
Because I have some theories. Heard the Flash theory?
Heard the Flash theory? No. Like they never have post production, and I'm calling them out live. They never have post production. I don't know. I guess that's their thing.
It's not like they have post production. They're just faking it for the camera. So they can give views.
At this point, and no one calls them out on it.
Yeah.
I look and no one calls them out on it. It's just crazy to me. All right, here we go.
Tell me something.
Does that voice sound familiar?
Yeah.
Any timeline, any universe.
First thoughts of the.
So,
Forgot about that part.
okay. So, if we were in the movie theater, I would do the white guy thing and stand up and clap and go, yes, yes, yes. Okay.
He's back.
This is literally my most excited movie I've been looking for 15 years. The Flash is my favorite character in the DC world. And I think the person who played him his name is Ezra Miller.
Yep.
I think is a great Flash. I think he's a great Flash. I love his humor. I love the whole thing, how they introduced him in Justice League. And I've been so looking forward to this movie. I will break down and officially say this probably will be a movie that I have to see in a movie theater. I have to see this in a movie theater. And yes, I know the voice. That was spoiled to me a couple weeks ago, actually. I think after. I do know who the voice is. And he's from Pittsburgh. Can't mistake the voice. So it's literally, yeah, I'm super excited about that one. And I was so scared that it was going to get shelved. I really thought I was going to get shelved. And the only thing I'm looking as forward to is I would love to see a Green Lantern movie, but not the Green Lantern himself, more like a Green Lantern Corps.
So I'm surprised that didn't get announced.
That whole thing.
Anyone else surprised that didn't get announced?
That's probably Fandome? Yeah, I would think I'm kind of surprised because I thought they were going to do that. I mean, it's weird to me. I've always said that. We said that last time we talked about DC World. Is how can you not have the Green Lantern but you have Aquaman? I mean, to me, Aquaman's kind of like
Aquaman
2. Jason's awesome. Jason plays a great Aquaman. But to me, it's like a lame character. It's a lame character to me. It's just where I would love to have the ring. And like I said earlier, he's supposedly the most powerful person in the DC universe. And because he has aura, you know what I'm saying? He has the whole thing of he could transfer anything he thinks of. I mean, he can make a nuclear missile. He can make... You name it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're fighting Superman. I have the power of the red sun coming out of my ring.
Yeah, what's the phrase like? Its limitation is the user.
It's yeah, exactly. It's as limited as your thought is. As limited as your imagination is what the power of the ring is. And so literally I'm like, God, man, you think about it. Like you think about even the Ryan Reynolds one was kind of ass. But if you really think about it, it really was kind of a great way of at least to introduce who Hal Jordan was. You know what I'm saying? And how much power he could do. Like, remember when he made the race car? He's like, I made a big racetrack out of nowhere. What, you don't want to talk about that? And it was just kind of like, it's like the power of what the ring could do. That was pretty good animation of what the power could do. And like I always thought it'd be really cool to show the Green Lantern Corps, like a Green Lantern. So like the Green Lanterns against the Yellow Lanterns, of what the Purple Lanterns are. I used to have this poster on my wall when I was a kid, and it showed the whole Lantern universe. And there's like 25 different colors, and each one represents. So remember what Yellow Lanterns were, the fear. They were all about fear, and the Green Lantern was all about, one thing. Red Lantern was another one. Purple, I think, was love. And it was just like each one of them had their own representation of what they could do, and they all had their own rings. I think that'd make it epic. Could you imagine like the end of like Sinestro fighting like Hal Jordan? I think that'd be so cool. Our Jon Stewart, if you want to make it modernized, I
would love with Jon Stewart.
And the other one they introduced him a couple times. You've seen him a couple times, was Martian the Manhunter. Mm-hmm. I would love to see something with him, but not like a movie, but like more of like a secondary role,
like a supporting character, like a
yeah, exactly. So, but I'm super excited about Flash.
Okay, so let's go into Flash. So yes, so the original concept for this movie, when everything started getting shelved after the fallout of of the Snyder incident, when they had Joss Whedon take over. So the original Batman movie, the one with Robert Pattinson now, was supposed to be a Bat flick, Ben Affleck one, and then they part ways. So like, okay, and then when they announced this when they announced the Flash one, it was going to be more original to the Flashpoint comic. Yeah. And they had Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who you guys may know as Negan from The Walking Dead.
We don't like him.
He's going to play Thomas Wayne. Where it was going to be the timeline where Bruce dies instead of his parents. And then Jeffrey Dean Morgan had to step away, and then so they're like, okay, so what are we going to do
Lucille.
now? Yeah. And then
I hate
like they're like, oh, they're going to have Michael Keaton, and then so this is what it looks like is Ezra Miller, the Flash, goes back in time to save his mom, and if you notice in some of the shots that like there's two Ezra Millers, there's two Flashes there, and they pull up to the Wayne Manor, from the from the Tim Burton one, and they're saying there's a theory going around that one of the Flashes, one of the Ezra Millers, is actually a reverse Flash. He's Eobard Thawne disguised as Ezra Miller, and maybe he's passing himself as like, oh, I'm this timeline's Flash, where the Batman, was like a hero back in the day, in the 80s, and now he's like this retired person. And Supergirl is going to be in this film too.
Yeah,
and she was in the shot as well. So I think, and then there's another. I think there's a rumor saying like Ben Affleck is going to be in this too. You might have a.
What I heard is they're going to have. I also heard Ben Affleck's going to be in it. Michael Keaton, we know, is in it. I heard anybody who's donned the cape and cowl are going to be in it. They're going to have everybody.
I don't think Val Kilmer is going to be in it, or like.
But
I don't think
that's what I heard. The one I wonder about the secondary ones. Like I always think of Batman's as Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, Ben Affleck. That's really the Batmans.
Adam West.
Well, Adam West he's dead.
But it's not like he didn't play Batman.
But I mean, he did play Batman. But I mean, it's like shit, dude. He's a first representation.
No George Clooney.
No
Clooney. Yeah,
I was because it wasn't to me. It's by then. To me, like I think back of, I'm the only person that can remember it in this podcast.
Well,
1984? No, 86. In 1986, that Batman came out, and as corny as it was, looking back on it now, there was nothing bigger. I mean, people were lining up around the block to watch that Batman. It was huge.
I rewatched it recently, and like I have a more respect for it because the music, amazing. Danny Elfman, amazing. The sets, like it made you feel like you were in Gotham.
Marvel's Spider-Man on PS4 to make me feel like Spider-Man, coupled with gameplay that made me feel like Spider-Man nearly every step of the way.
Yeah, and it was kind of like. And I thought that and now you maybe understand when I say what I think about Jack playing the Joker. I think he was a great Joker. Like
this game makes you feel like you're Batman.
It literally kind of made you understand, like, okay, he's kind of the Joker. I thought it was good, and I thought Michael Keaton did it really good. I thought it was one of the very few. I think they did it in animation. I'm trying to remember live action. It's one of the few times you ever heard the name Vicky Vale. Which was kind of interesting.
Also, they got Prince in the booth to do a song.
Well, Prince did the whole soundtrack to that movie. You know that, right? That was his soundtrack.
Really?
Yeah, he did the whole soundtrack by himself. No other musicians, by himself.
Danny Elfman, Prince, amazing sets. Like the writing was good. Jack Nicholson was good. Like, my only complaint was like, You know, like he wasn't in Joker makeup the whole time, but probably because Jack Nicholson's like, I don't want to be in a makeup chair for like 12 hours. You know what I mean?
Right.
So he's like, can we shoot some stuff, you know, with and without.
But
Well,
like
I
I
mean,
loved it. Remember
overall
he
it was
pulled
good.
out the big huge gun that was like this long, and he went bang, and then he pulled out the big gun and shot that big bullet. That'd be like Joker stuff, man. You know what I mean? And I thought it was super cool. Like in that movie, the one complaint I always had about that movie is, and it's probably because it was Tim Burton, it was a little too dark. Like the set, the lighting was a little dark, a little too gothy. You know what I'm saying? But other than that, I thought it was a decent movie. But I'm excited.
And shout out for Tim Burton for casting him. What's his name? Blando. He was Harvey Dent.
Yeah. His name
What's
is
his
his
name?
Billy D. Williams. Thank you very
Billy D.
much.
Like
Billy
yeah,
D.
my name-
Baby.
My mind was blank on his name. And then one of the best Batmobiles of all time.
Oh, that was a
Yeah.
good Batmobile. It was a good Batmobile, and I assume that's what he pulls when he pulls that back. It's the Batmobile, and so I'm kind of wondering like where they're going to go with it, because there's a couple different lines that I've seen with the Flash of like different. The comic book has gone several ways with the paradox, and then you know, it's interesting because the Flash. There's about 5 Flashes at one time, right? At any given time. So there's a bunch of Flashes. So like the one thing that DC did that was kind of weird, I just read this book called Superheroes. It's about the history of comic books. It's really cool. If you listen to the audio version, they actually have like Stan Lee and like Jack Kirby and all these guys talk about what they created. So it's kind of cool. But the one thing that DC did was, so the Flash, remember the old school Flash? Like you saw him in animations where he wore like a little hard hat with little wings on it. You ever seen that old Flash?
Yeah.
They retired the Flash for years, and he was a 1940s character. And then in the 50s and stuff, he just didn't age well. And then they pulled him back out in the late 60s, and that's when they brought in Barry. So they had the old Flash, new Flash, and then they have Kid Flash, who became the Flash. You know, so they have several Flashes. I've always thought the coolest Flash, though. Gosh, I have to go back to the JLU cartoon series.
Oh yeah.
That dude was awesome. Remember, he had like a little Snickers bar, like his little uniform, his little costume had a Snickers bar holder, and he'd be like, and he always just wanted to eat. Remember, he was always like constantly eating. I thought that guy was hilarious.
The Flash CW show did okay up until like the later seasons, in my opinion. But
I liked it.
Anthony, as a Flash fan, are you hopeful? Do you think this movie is going to be good?
Yeah. Oh yes. I agree on the Reverse Flash theory. I do believe that is the Reverse Flash. High hopes for this movie.
High hopes.
We haven't had a fucking Flash movie, like a live action Flash movie ever, right? I mean, well, yeah, we had the '90s one, but
Yeah, it was a
not
show.
recently.
I didn't even remember that one.
I
It was a
just
show.
really-
It was a show. It was a
I
show,
just
not a
really
movie.
hope they don't kill. Like, I hope they don't kill Batman. That would suck. I think, but we'll see.
You know,
When
I
does it
wonder.
come out? Do you know? Next year?
Probably. I wonder though too. Is it like a situation where every one of the DC movies has been based around Superman and Batman? You know,
And Aquaman.
and maybe they're kind of sitting saying, how do we go to like you know how like the MCU went to like second whatever they call it, MC, and now they're like in third world or third version of it or whatever. And I wonder if maybe they're taking a play out of that playbook and like, how can we get away from Batman and Superman and maybe look at some of these secondary people, you know? And maybe the way to do that is to kill off Batman, which kind of sucks. But it is what it is. I mean, I there's so many other great DC characters that I think they should do stuff with that I would love to see. I would love to see a really good representation. I know that at one point they were talking about making Legion of Doom.
I heard about that in the end credit scene.
Yeah, and so
Build up.
yeah, and so I don't know if they're still doing that. I really would like to see like. There's so many great like. One of the people I'd really love to see get his own movie, possibly Cyborg. I think it'd be. You know, what about Beast Boy?
I don't
Like-
think his own movie, but yeah.
But no, but what about a Teen Titans movie? Cyborg,
That, yeah.
Beast Boy,
The show, yeah, it's
the
good.
girl with what was her name?
Yeah. Yeah.
Thing.
I agree. And then I just want to say one last thing. If you notice when the Flash is hit, the suit he's wearing is a Batman suit. He basically the emblem on his chest. He just put a flash over it, and then you can see in the trailer he sprays a lightning bolt in the boots. But we're getting close to time. So, Lee, do you want to watch the latest Robert Pattinson Batman trailer?
Oh, I already saw that. I did see that
Okay.
one. So I could save us a couple minutes there. I know I talked a lot of shit about it initially, and Anthony got all mad at me. I actually have been doing a lot of research. I sat through a couple Robert Pattinson movies, not Twilight. Really good actor. I think he's a good actor.
Vampire Baseball.
And but he
Baseball.
he literally, I think I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt. From what I've seen, it looks good. It looks really good. And something he did in that, I give him massive respect, Robert Pattinson. If you listen to this, shout out. He refused to put on the muscle weight that other people did because he said that he was an actor that he could present it better without having to do it and get like all bulked up. Like Ben Affleck put on like 20 pounds of muscle, and all these people got beefed up to play the role. And he's like, Batman's not that. Like Batman's supposed to be this like ordinary guy that passes off as this like ordinary guy. He's not going to be like some
Exactly, yeah.
So I thought it was kind of cool of him to do that. But yeah, I'm excited about that one, and I'll probably
Very excited.
I'll probably see that in the movies too. To be honest with you,
They from the trailer, what I've seen is like they're going for like a little bit of a Silence of the Lambs type vibes, where it's like I'm dangerous. I'm just as dangerous in here as I am, out there, and I'm very excited. Also, a little fun fact: Robert Pattinson, when he did his screen test, he wore Val Kilmer's suit. They had him wear Val Kilmer's suit, which is weird. And he said in the interview, he's like, oh, it was weird because he's like, I'm wearing a suit made of rubber.
You remember your first day, Rob, when you were wearing one of the actual bat suits? Literally was wearing, I believe, Val Kilmer's bat suit. Yeah.
But I remember putting it on and thinking that this is impossible. This is going to be absolutely impossible. I remember you saying because I guess just trying to move. I mean, wearing a kind of 2-inch thick rubber suit or latex suit and being incredibly nervous and full of adrenaline the whole time.
Compared to like this thing now where it's all
Wait,
more advanced.
I want to see how the suit looks like. Let's see, what was it?
Val Kilmer suit with
Val
nipples.
Kilmer suit. Yeah, the nipples.
It had the nipples. Oh no, George Clooney's had the nipples.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's
that.
the one like mostly was similar to Michael Keaton's one, the one with like the chest and the emblem in the middle.
Yeah,
but I thought that was interesting.
I thought his voice is pretty good in it. I thought it was, and I really like the idea of like the cards and like I like the suspense they're building up with the Riddler. I think that's gonna. I've always said, I think I said it before in our last time. That's always to me is probably the most complex Batman villain. I always thought he was the most interesting one, along with Poison Ivy. So I don't know. We'll see. I have to give it a chance, and I'm just going into it. I'm taking my boy Anthony's philosophy. I'm going into it with a very open mind, and not going into it with my own pre-configured notions. So we'll see. I may come out of it disappointed and wanting to kick Anthony's ass.
I'll be fair. I'm very excited about this movie. Just real quick, I'll keep it short so that way Brunner could say his thoughts and we can go ahead and wrap it up. But very excited.
We got 15 minutes. We have a lot more time.
Yeah,
we got a lot more time.
You take it away.
He's gonna shave out. He's gonna shave out 6 minutes. We're only at 45 minutes right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
take your time.
All right, so very excited about this movie. I think Robert Pattinson redeemed himself with other past movies. If you haven't seen Tenet, go watch it. That's like my number one recommended. He's done other ones with Tom Holland.
Did you
I
cry?
don't remember the name. I did cry. In Tenet, yes. In the end. He dies basically. I didn't
Thanks
actually
for
cry.
spoiling it. Spoiler alert! Guess I don't have to watch it now. Damn.
It's on HBO. If you haven't watched it by now, then you never cared. But anyway, I'm very excited. I love Riddler. I love how dark he is. They did him good in Gotham, the show Gotham. So I always thought, okay, like a dark Riddler in the movie would be great. And I think we're getting that. So I hope it's. I don't know what the rating is, but I hope it's like Joker, dark. We'll see. I hope it ties in with the Joker universe. That'd be kind of cool. Kind of cool moment right there.
You know that you just hit a nail on the head. I think that they need to stop making these PG-13 and start making them R. And I think they'd be better movies.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that they'd be better for the people that are actually going, like that these mean something to. Like I think that that's kind of where a lot of times, you know, I think about we kind of just came out of, it's kind of a little off topic, but we came out of it. We were talking about a lot about horror movies, and that's where kind of the Scream series jumped the shark. Is when they try to go PG-13 to open it up to kids. You know, when it really, a horror movie needs to be an R-rated movie, period. Done, final, finito.
Period, yep.
And I think the same could be said about superheroes, because you need to see the blood, you need to see the violence, because that's what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's how are you going to fight Brainiac and not have loss, you know? Think about that when you think about the Avengers Endgame. You never really saw like anybody. You saw two people die, like main characters die, but you never really saw them die. Like, you know what I mean? You never saw how they, like, you never saw Natasha after, like, close up after she fell off that cliff. You know, you never really saw like Tony Stark. Not like, not like blood dripping.
I think the biggest complaint is like you never see her hit the ground.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
and it's
there's
like you
blood
and you never
in the back of her head, but like you don't see
but
that.
And you never see like Iron Man. It was kind of like more kind of a passive death, if you think about it in the world of like sometimes how you would see how it would really be if you fought a fight like that. You know what I'm saying?
I think we're probably going to hear, but I just want to add, like, if Hulk gets his arm burned off with the Infinity Stones, don't you think like Iron Man would have his like arm blown off, right?
Yeah.
After the snap.
Exactly. So, and it's, and every time I hear it, I gotta snap my fingers, you know, just in case we're in that alternate world, because I have the gauntlet. But yeah.
All right. We talked good. Excited for the future. Hopeful.
Excited.
We got a WandaVision TV show before a Flash movie, but anyway, I just want to end it there.
That was disappointing.
Thank you guys so much for listening.
And we got the wrong Quicksilver in it too.
In the next one.
Yeah, bro. Thank you guys.
Thank you.